In the name of God the Almighty, peace to you. Today I will speak about human responsibilities, because we have been living, at least for the last 60 years or so, speaking always about human rights and about freedoms and all those sorts of things. And we kept talking about them, and we allowed the ignorant to be free, to remain ignorant. We allowed the criminal to commit his crime without justice. We allowed every injustice to happen, sometimes in the name of freedom, sometimes in the name of human rights, sometimes in the name of a political agenda or an economic goal. And so what has been going on is some kind of chaos, because many people are not being wise and they are not acting responsibly. No one is against freedom, no one against the human rights, but what's happening that the people, or there are different levels of people. Of course, we are all born equal, with 50% intention, or to do good, 50% bad, and we work on our souls throughout our lifetime. So we are all born equal, but the equality between us change through our life stages. Some people like evil more than good, and other like good more than evil. So what happened in the last 60 years and still going on, it's that people are speaking about the freedoms and the human rights in order to give everyone the freedom he needs, of course, but how many people are abusing their freedoms? How many people are, committing against themselves and others some kind of crime or injustice towards other people, towards other creatures, towards nature, in the name of their freedom to build a business, freedom to build an army, freedom to own a gun, freedom to uh, you know uh, build a farm where animals are being abused for the sake of the products that their owner could get out of them as quick as possible. So we are all for freedoms, we are all for human rights, but there should be serious talking about human responsibilities, because freedom, if it's not twinned with wisdom and responsibility, it's destructive. And that's what's happening right now in our world. Everybody is free to give birth to endless number of children, to marry I don't know how many wives, to build how many farms, to abuse animals in order to gain money, to build, as long as he have money he can buy green spaces and turn them into some kind of cities, small ones or large ones. So we are not taking any responsibilities in a parallel manner to the human rights we have been given and the human freedom we are always wanting. So this is what happened, and this is why the balance has been shaken and almost completely destroyed by now. So human responsibilities must come hand in hand with human rights. because the wise, unfortunately, are very small percentage, and the majority are completely either arrogant, greedy, or ignorant. So, what can the small percentage of wise people do in order to survive on a planet where the majority of people living on it are destructive by their actions, by their behaviors, by their freedoms, which are not coming from a place of responsibility or wisdom? That's what's happening in the world today. As I said, we should be all given freedom of choice, of freedom of expression, freedom of belief, freedom of leading our life the way we want. But it's in the same time the collective, uh, we share a common collective future that belongs to everybody. So, but unfortunately, as I said, the majority of people are acting selfishly. They don't give a damn about the collective future. And as I said, the wise people are a very small percentage and nobody listening to them, because politics want votes and votes need majority. So every politician, every candidate is always speaking about what the majority want to hear. He's ready to drop an inshallah in a debate, for example, in order to tease a specific community, or he would go, for example, defending the right of someone falling for racism and some. So we are using just words and promises and empty things in order to gain votes, but in reality, when once we are in power, we are not using anything in order to bring more people from selfishness into being or acting selflessly. So human responsibilities is the thing that every wise person in the world, everyone in power should be talking about from now on. Because as I said in previous videos, we are living the 10 years that are very crucial in order to survive on this planet, in order to our civilization not perish like the previous civilization. So it's time to talk about the human responsibilities. We have to put some kind of limit to people's freedoms. I'm not saying that we should force things into them, but we have to speak out loud against ignorance. We have to really educate people. We have to give global advices, and with giving the reasons behind what we are saying, why it's going to affect people future, their children, their grandchildren, or otherwise. As I said, if we leave the ignorant to his ignorance, if we leave the greedy to his greed, if we leave the criminal to his crimes, we are not going to fix anything. I mean, I know there are many people who are, for example, talking to protect the environment, and many parties caring about the animal welfare, but they are very small percentage, and coming from countries that uh, their population is very limited, and even their capabilities, and unfortunately the wealthy, very few wealthy people or a wealthy corporation are doing the right thing. The majority of the wealthy and the majority of wealthy corporations are doing or allowing more and more abuse, so to the ecosystem and to this planet. So we are having a serious problem. It's enough talking about human rights, and we have, or we can keep talking about human rights, but at the same time we should talk about human responsibilities. because if we look at the majority of world population, they are religious. Over 80% are religious from the 8 billion people who live on this planet. And the religious people, they have all one thing in common, that they believe that God is merciful, and because they go to church or to mosque or to synagogue, they think, because they live superficially, they think that they can do whatever they want and God is forgiving. So they are giving their share to God with one prayer or two and go abuse everything around them, and even bully the other people who are not religious or act according to them outside the books they believe in. So we are having trouble because people are avoiding responsibility. That's the common between everybody, that we don't want to be responsible. We do everything. We want to protect our rights or our freedoms to do whatever we want, but we don't want to be responsible. And that's why this planet is suffering. Every creature living on it is suffering. And I can't see how we can turn the tide if we don't speak about responsibilities. All what we hear, people want it. For example, this accident, I will speak in details about that later in coming video. This accident in France, a teacher who's just giving his students an idea about freedom of belief and freedom of expression and something like that. And he told his, for example, Mohammedans students, if they feel that the topic is offending, to leave the class. It's something, I don't see anything, any red line he crossed in this at all, completely. Because first of all, Muhammad is not a god. Second, he's a human being and he's dead. Third, uh, it's just, I mean, to kill another person in the name of just because he insulted someone. You thought, and even he thought that he insulted someone, or what he was talking about, that showing the caricature and what freedom of expression is all about and what are the red lines, etc., etc. So it's beyond belief that we could still kill each other for such stupid reasons. Of course, the young lad the killer was a young guy. He's still plenty of things to learn, but the evil ones mainly are the religious leaders and his parents and everybody who believes in the cruelty of God, and that we could kill each other for uh, I mean something like belief or whatever reason. We have no right to kill. This is one of the 10 commandments that every person should observe. But the problem, as I said, with the religious people, they have zero morals. Morality doesn't exist in their lifestyles and their daily work and anything they do. They lie to God when they pray, and they lie to themselves, and they go abuse everything they face. And they are arrogantly saying, we are the best and everybody else is wrong because we are better than the others and we are the godly ones. They are getting it completely wrong and God will not recognize them. So we are having trouble here. There are plenty of ignorance in the name of belief, in the name of freedom of choice, in the name of every type of freedom. This should be fixed. And I don't see, I've been seeing such sites for now at least 20 years and nobody is talking the right thing. Any state leader or any responsible go directly that to care for the security and do not want to divide the communities and blah blah blah, and they keep it until it pops up again. So these problems should be fixed in a radical way. So I'm not saying, as I said, forcing people, but explaining to them what is God and what is a human and why the human soul, the human life is very important and it's very valuable. But unfortunately, as I said, plenty of ignorance, plenty of freedoms given to people who have zero wisdom, zero responsibility, and that's going on not only in this accident. I'm just giving it an accident of the freedom of belief, and it's a freedom of the ignorant to remain ignorant, and this should be seized, or at least attempt. We have to attempt to seize it, because, as I said, you are not free to harm others. You are not free to take lives. You are not free to kill anyone. And I'm not here defending, for example, the French state. The French state have also history of blood on their hands. Unfortunately, there is no state on this planet that they don't have an army and didn't make abuse of any sort of shape or form. We have been divided in political names, under political corners, under religious sects. All these things have to stop. If we are ever to be living in peace and harmony with each other, with nature, with animals, with everything around us, we have to drop all types of divisions. Because, as I said, if we don't do it this way, there will be no hope at all. Because as long as we keep the divisions, there will be always people who are ignorant, who are abusers, who will come in the name of this label or the name of that label and do the bad thing because they are not responsible. Some of them are young, they are not experienced there, that still in life. Others, they are greedy, they have zero, they believe they are living in a jungle, and the strong should eat the weak and the wealthy should eat the poor, and all these things. So we are living in, in a culture of death and greed, and everything around us is corrupt. Poor are the animals because they have been fated to live with monsters like us on the same planet. Yes, they have some kind of, law of jungle. Some species may eat another species, but it's all according to a balance. And even their freedom we have been abusing. We have been invading their homes. We have been taking what belongs to us, what doesn't belong to us. We are taking everything. And now when we started seeing the anger of nature with the plagues that's coming to us, with the viruses and all these things, we jump always to blame it on God, or to blame it and to call it the enemy. We are the enemy. We are the enemy, the human beings who are supposedly to be ruling wisely this planet, and they are doing completely destructive behavior in every corner in the world of the world. There is not a single state that I could be proud of, or say I belong to this, or I would like to live like this. Not a single community, not a single state, not a single religion. All of them. So if we are all believing in a supernatural a creation that created us, or we believe in the evolution process and we don't believe in God, and we care that our future generation should not go extinct. If you are a believer in God, or if you are not a believer in God, both ways you have to protect the future. You have to rule wisely this planet. So what are we doing? As I said in previous videos, the problem that we have corrupted people that are reaching power and a corporation and environment agency and a state and at the head of an army, at you know, at a militia, at a gang. So we are being led by corrupt people wherever you look, in what country you are living. So what's the point in continuing and living in a world like this and keep talking just about what our rights and what we are never talking about responsibilities? So as I said, the common between everybody that no one is willing to take responsibility, and they want all their freedoms to be protected, and they want to cross every possible red lines without being punished, without someone telling them what you are doing is wrong. So how are we going to build a peaceful world, a world filled with love and harmony, when if we are, for example, belonging to America, we hate the Chinese, and just Chinese hate the Americans. And if we belong to a Christian sect, we hate the other Christian sect, and they hate the Mohammedan sect. And inside each religion, there are plenty of sects, and every religion hates the other religion and despise each other. When how you are, that's just the division between the human beings themselves, not to mention, as I said, or to remind about the total abuse of every other species living on this planet. We are polluting the air, we are polluting the sea, we are polluting the rivers, we are eating the green space, and if it's not taken by pollution or by building more and more housing, we are burning it. So we are destroying everything, we are eating everything, consuming everything in a very greedy way. And in the same time, we are producing like there is no tomorrow. I mean, in the year 1980, we were just 4 billion people. In hardly 40 years, we jumped up the double the number. So we are producing at the rate 1 billion per 10 year per decade. So how is going to be sustainable in the coming 2 or 3 decades? I can't see. So where is the responsibility? The responsibility comes from wisdom. There is no wisdom. And wisdom comes from understanding or thinking about our surroundings, about our world, about everything that's living around us. Think about today, and we think about the distant future too. Everything is created by numbers, everything created in a balance. When we are not responsible, we abuse either ignorantly or knowingly this balance, and we pay the price. I have been speaking about these things for at least now 14, 14 years, something like that. Maybe lately I'm speaking more frequently about them, and yet I can't find many people who are willing to take advice or apply it to themselves. And without seeing the truth and act upon it, how are we going to ever have any type of good future? We want to blame everything on God. We can't do that. God in the end will come one day and judge us all. and each one of us will be judged according to his deeds. But everybody is counting on the mercy of God, and many of them, they don't believe. They just say, let's live our life to the maximum and then we will see. And as I said, when you live your life to the maximum, you fear nothing and you just want to consume, to kill, to abuse, to steal. You do whatever you want. So very few people, as I said, are speaking about human responsibilities, and that's the main problem of our world today. And we should do better in this decade, because it's crucial. After 2030, it will be a different type of world. So if we don't act now to protect ourselves and our future generation, it will be too late after that. That's it from me today. I hope in the coming videos I'll be talking on more specific types of topics. But this is a very important thing, that we should not only discussing human rights, we have also to discuss human responsibilities, because the humans are ruining their home and they are not waking up to this truth, unfortunately, because they are not wise, they are not just, and they are living very selfishly to the maximum. Peace to you. Bye for now.